The most chaotic team in college football sounds a bit crazy and almost a bit scary, doesn't it? So let's go and take a look. Another video from KTO. You guys seem to love the KTO videos, so let's continue.
Everything that has a beginning
Oh,
has an end. I see the darkness spreading. I see the end coming.
You can't be dead. You can't be.
I see death.
Goodbye, Mr. Sanderson.
okay. I don't get it.
The Deion Sanders Colorado experiment has now concluded 3 full seasons, and it's been chaotic.
Wait, Deion Sanders, the old player, like, is he a coach in college?
Experienced everything from record-setting television numbers to a Heisman Trophy winner to locker room controversies, with one player comparing the environment to a real-life Grand Theft Auto video game.
Damn.
In 2023, Deion Sanders took over one of the worst programs in the country and has made great efforts to change its culture and build a college football powerhouse, which is what many of his supporters expected. After all, they were the 4th most bet team to win the national title in 2024, despite winning just 4 games.
Okay, I know it's early, but like, worst college football program, or one of the worst, and now to 4th most placed bets to win a national championship. Wow.
Previous season. And for moments, we've seen some magical things take place. So what are we to make of the Coach Prime era in Colorado to this point? There's been a lot of hype, crazy storylines, good football, terrible football, unprecedented transfer portal movement, and Deion's health issues. There's a lot to unpack here, and what I want to do in this video is go year by year, detailing what has gone down. Then at the end, wrap it all up with a summary of why things have transpired the way they have. Now, one aspect of Coach Prime that you gotta give him credit for is he's always styling.
Look at that.
And former athletes either have a sense of style or they don't. Unfortunately, a lot of us, including me, fall into this lack of style category, and I'm usually dressed not so impressively, much to the dismay of my wife. Luckily, that's where today's video sponsor, Viore, comes in clutch.
Same here,
Viore
but
is a California-founded.
I do have the sick Philadelphia jersey here, which is pretty cool.
I, for one, struggled to dress nice. And of Colorado football prior to Deion's arrival, they were atrocious. Since 2003, Colorado has been an afterthought with just 1 double-digit win season since then.
Yeah, look at that, only 2016.
Years prior to Deion's arrival, Colorado finished with 5 or less wins every season, capping it off with a 1-11 debacle in 2022. Then, Coach Prime showed up. In one word, his arrival was loud.
Okay. Uniforms may not even look like they look now. Okay. The cleats, I guarantee it's gonna be some special. Okay. We got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. Okay.
With lights and cameras everywhere.
Wait,
Deion's
did he say he was cutting someone? And just another question, how common is it for former like professional football players to be coaches later? I guess maybe like in lower levels, of course, but like college football?
Sanders immediately set a new standard. He also brought in over 50 transfers, setting a new NCAA record.
Yeah, quarterback is coming. Yep, about 10 more of them coming. And they dogs. And they gonna hunt and they gonna eat.
Shortly after his arrival, Colorado saw over 50 scholarship players leave the program through the transfer portal. This level of volatility was unprecedented.
Wow.
Coach Prime often talked about his strategy, which he called the 40-40-20 plan with recruiting. Basically, it's try to get 40% of graduate or older transfers, 40% undergrad or younger transfers, and 20% high school recruits.
Okay.
This was quite the ambitious plan, considering
I don't get
how
the
many
graduate transfers. Haven't they graduated already from college then?
older players that they would have to replace on a yearly basis. Colorado quickly became the most enticing story in college football. Whether you loved or hated it, everyone was paying attention and eager to see if Coach Prime could pull off some video game-like magic, rebuilding a program overnight.
Please say hello to the most electrifying man in sports today,
Wow.
Prime.
Betting odds had this 2023 Colorado team winning 3 to 4 games, which, although it seemed low, it was an improvement over their atrocious 1-win season in 2022. Scheduled to go play number 17 TCU on opening day, the game became an all-time classic, and it would set the tone for early on in the season. Going into game number 1, Colorado was 21-point underdogs, but instead of a blowout loss, Shedeur Sanders threw for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns.
What is that name? What, is he in the NFL now?
Including the game winner with 4 minutes remaining in the game. Colorado pulled off an incredibly exciting back-and-forth high-scoring thriller, which immediately boosted their hype to another level.
We do things that have never been done, and that makes people uncomfortable.
The following week, they hosted Nebraska, and Colorado dominated that game. All of a sudden, many people were thinking, was this Colorado team about to make some sort of crazy playoff run? Their next game against rival Colorado State would garner massive attention nationwide.
I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me.
Trying to get out here and be the best coach I could be, and I look up and I read some bull junk that they said about us.
It was a game that nobody was talking about in 2022. Then in 2023, it set ESPN's all-time college football regular season streaming record, peaking at over 11 million viewers.
What that handshake gonna be like after you whoop on Colorado State in the middle field? No handshake or any handshake? Take the hat off. Take the shades off, huh?
It was also Colorado's first ever sellout in school history.
What do you think of this team? Do you have any opinion?
And the game didn't disappoint. Colorado was massive 24-point favorites, but they struggled to build a lead. This game had everything.
Oh, interception!
It had celebrities on the sidelines. It was chippy, got controversial at times. And just when it seemed like Colorado was going to lose, they somehow pulled off an improbable touchdown drive to send it to overtime. And they went on to win in double OT. The hype went through the stratosphere for Colorado's following game versus Oregon. It became the most watched Pac-12 game since 2006, and its peak viewership of 12.6 million made it the most
What kind of numbers is this?
watched regular season game of the season.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins.
Oh.
There's a difference. Right? There's a difference. Right? This game ain't gonna be played in Hollywood, it's gonna be played on the grass.
It was too bad that it became a sobering reality check for Colorado,
Dang.
as by halftime, they trailed 35-0, eventually going on to lose. This became the turning point. Colorado would lose the following week after nearly coming back against USC. Then after defeating Arizona State, their biggest gut punch of the season came against Stanford. Colorado built a commanding 29-0 lead at halftime. Then they proceeded to give up that lead and lose in double overtime.
It all started when we gave up on the 97-yard touchdown, which was flat out ridiculous. That's when it all started. That's when all the foolishness, all the complacency, all the mess started.
This felt like the wheels had come off the tracks. They would lose to UCLA, then Oregon State, then Arizona, then they got blown out by Washington State, and finally they lost to Utah to give them a final record of 4-8. Imagining them only winning one more game after starting 3-0 almost seemed impossible, but that's just what happened. Their defense outside of Travis Hunter was terrible from the beginning. And
Travis Hunter, Jacksonville, right?
Line had become a clear issue later in the season as Shedeur was constantly running for his life. He was sacked more than any other quarterback in the country, and his season ended early due to a fracture in his back. With year one in the books, it's safe to say it was a mixed bag. On one hand, the team completely fell off the wagon after an awesome start to the season, which was disappointing. But at the same time, revenue for the athletic department took a huge leap, increasing by over $30 million.
Wow.
From a roster standpoint, it became clear what Coach Prime needed to do to fix this team. And year two would once again see massive volatility for Colorado in the transfer portal. They brought in over 40 new transfers, which was more than any other team. They also
had after last year as well.
over 34 players leave the program, which was also near the top. Along with the huge shift in personnel, there were also the massive conference realignments taking place, which included Colorado. With the move from the Pac-12 to the Big 12, once again, they weren't expected to be a dominant team, as odds makers had them winning around 5 to 6 games, ranking them 11th in the conference. Despite this, many outsiders had faith in Coach Prime's rebuild, as they were the 4th most bet on team to win the national title.
Now, how crazy is that? 4-win season to 4th most betted on to win the title.
To a bumpy start. They escaped against FCS team North Dakota State, then got worked in their rematch versus Nebraska the following week. In the post-game press conference,
Let me just see if I'm recording. I always get scared. Yeah, okay, I'm good.
Shedeur basically blamed the offensive line for his struggles.
How many times did Raul get touched? They was able, like, of course, whenever you're able to run the ball consistently and whenever you're able to, then that opens up the pass, you know. But it's just like you gotta understand like what your team good at. So it's like, why would we keep running the ball if we out there and we get in a situation where it's a must get and we don't get it.
This was controversial at the time, but
I guess. So what do you feel about that, guys? You know, I guess he's sort of throwing his offensive line under a bus, or is he?
Colorado would find their stride, first defeating rival Colorado State handily, then beating Baylor by a touchdown, then cruising to victory in blowout fashion versus UCF. To that point, Travis Hunter was putting together a season for the ages. He was averaging nearly 10 catches, over 100 yards, and more than a touchdown a game. Also dominating defensively. It was truly incredible. And
it's him. It's the guy who plays offense and defense. Now I remember him. Yes.
Would continue. Shedeur was also killing it by putting up monster numbers. The next 5 games saw Colorado only lose once, which was a tough last-minute loss to ranked Kansas State. But it would become clear that Colorado had taken a step forward as a program. That and the benefit of not playing teams like Oregon, USC, and UCLA due to the conference realignment. Colorado went into a late November matchup against Kansas with an 8-2 record, and Colorado was ranked 16th in the country, their highest rank in 8 seasons. But it was a rough game for them. They lost by double digit.
What do you think about Kansas logo? I like it.
They did respond the following week by crushing Oklahoma State 52-0 off the back of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter putting on a clinic. At the end of the regular season, Colorado had overcome all expectations. They were a legit team that had 2 bona fide stars. Shedeur Sanders went on to finish 4th in the Heisman, and Travis Hunter won the award after doing things on the field people hadn't seen since his coach was still playing. They went on to get blown out in the Alamo Bowl versus BYU, which was a tough ending to the season. But still, so much had gone right in 2024. With 2 potential top 5 picks, making a bowl game, and finishing with 9 wins. This was the peak of Coach Prime's Colorado to this point.
Well, that was really good then. A great season, not a championship win, of course, but great season, money in the school, 2 top 5 picks. But then the Sanders and Hunter leave then. What happens next?
2025 began with quite a bit of uncertainty for Colorado. Once again, they had one of the highest numbers of transfers leaving the school in the country with over 30. And once again, they had a huge influx of incoming transfers. So it was safe to say that Coach Prime was living and dying by the transfer portal. But there was a glaring weakness in this strategy. Deion Sanders struggled to attract good offensive linemen to the program. This was evident once again, as Shedeur was the most sacked quarterback in the country. There were no signs of a developing run game, as they finished dead last in rushing yards and yards per carry.
65 rushing yards per game? Most values are per game averages.
Signs of a developing run game, as they finished dead last in rushing yards
and
yards per carry in 2024 by a country mile. They were so much about Shedeur and Travis Hunter that the school honored them by retiring both of their jerseys during the spring game of 2025.
Shedeur Sanders had his jersey number retired at Colorado this year, and people are saying it's because of nepotism, because of his father, and it's not. It's because he went 13-12 over his career, and he almost won the Alamo Bowl. Definitely not nepotism, right? All right.
Now that Coach Prime didn't have arguably the best player in the country on his roster.
No way. Okay, what program was that? Was that him sitting in the crowd as well?
And he didn't have his son, who was a proven college quarterback. He was going to need to find at least some decent replacements if Colorado was going to do much of anything in 2025. In terms of quarterback, he hoped either the number 1...
Wait, is that Deion's son? Is that his son? No way.
Overall recruit Julian Lewis or Liberty transfer Caden Salter was going to be the answer. But the summer was tough. Coach
Deion Sanders, yes, his name is Deion Sanders. Wow.
Prime had to take a leave of absence that caused him to miss most of the summer of 2025 to treat and remove a cancerous tumor in his bladder. This was scary, and just one of the many health issues he's experienced in recent years. Since 2021, he had undergone 14 surgeries for a variety of ailments, which included having 2 toes amputated. Despite a period of uncertainty, Deion returned to coach his team with the quote, "I'm back, baby." Regardless of how you felt about Deion's personality, there was no denying this resilience and toughness that he had to get back on the saddle and lead his program. The 2025 Colorado football team was expected to take a step back after losing key players, but they ended up taking more than a step back. Caden Salter won the quarterback competition and led Colorado out on opening day versus Georgia Tech, and Colorado lost by 7. The team found their footing against the weaker Delaware the following week, but Salter struggled while out there, and Deion benched him in favor of third-string quarterback Ryan Staub to preserve backup Julian Lewis's red shirt. Salter later mentioned how this benching shook his confidence. With Staub, Colorado got manhandled by Houston, and Coach Prime was not impressed with Staub's performance. He ended up going back to Salter the following week. Against Wyoming, Salter looked like the guy they expected him to be, as he threw and ran all over Wyoming to a commanding victory.
Just what a freaking cool logo Wyoming says.
The following week was their toughest test of the season to that point, playing number 25 BYU. And Colorado, despite struggling offensively, held a lead most of the game, but they fell behind in the fourth, and Salter struggled late in the game as they went on to lose. The next game saw a similar fate. Salter struggled with multiple turnovers, and TCU pulled away late in the fourth. The high point of their season came against ranked Iowa State the following week, when the team battled to pull off an impressive victory. It was a well-rounded team effort. However, the following week was a humiliation ritual. Utah jumped out to a 43-0 lead at halftime. It was like watching Georgia play Savannah State. Salter was benched once again after an abysmal performance. Utah ended up having 587 yards compared to Colorado's 140. Deion himself had this to say.
This is bad. It's probably the worst beating I've ever had, except for when my mama whooped me.
Colorado would get blown out the following week, then proceeded to lose their final 3 games to finish with a record of 3-9.
No.
By the midpoint of 2025, nobody was talking about Colorado anymore.
I'm sorry for getting quiet. I just wanted them to succeed for some reason, but no.
They were a bad team that didn't have much going for them. There was some drama early on to talk about with the quarterbacks, but by midseason, nobody cared on the national scale. They finished with the second worst offense in the Big 12 and the worst defense in the conference. The team performed a lot like Deion's first season if you take away Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders and replace them with average to below average level college players. Here's some potential reasons as to why things have gone poorly outside of 2024. Number 1 is a lack of roster balance. Specifically, a weak offensive line that hasn't gotten any...
Just that's a point. Over-reliance on transfer portal. Like, you can't switch a whole team every year, can you?
...better since Deion's arrival. The heavy reliance on portal over high school players has made it very difficult for Colorado to build solid structural cohesiveness. There's a really good quote from the New York Times that says the following, quote, "It's exciting when you flip someone else's roster. It's detrimental when you do it to players you personally brought in. That's treating players like commodities, and it's a tough sell for future recruiting efforts, both in the high school ranks and in the portal." Now, in fairness, this is a much larger issue than just for Colorado, but they are the prime example of this. Number 2 is coaching and management. To give Deion the benefit of the doubt, having the health issues he's experienced would derail almost anybody from being successful. Also, from a game planning and management perspective, Deion would be the first to tell you they've struggled in this department. Their complete misuse of timeouts were a reoccurring issue that was talked about after games. And from a coaching staff perspective, there isn't much reason to have faith in it.
Okay, so the coaching staff was also to blame. So is that Deion's team then of coaches, or is it like they recruit coaches by themselves, or does he have his team with him there?
Players have been bad. Players don't develop. It's a mess. And number 3 is cultural issues. I'm just going to go over 4 quotes from a Sports Illustrated article back in 2024. Quote, "It's a real-life Grand Theft Auto video game," one former player said. "There are many distractions with fights, guns, and money floating around. The environment is unlike any I've come from before." This was a report that Deion claimed was false. Then another player said this, quote, "I feel like I just don't want to play for clicks. I actually want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players." Deion later suggested that this player's work ethic was inadequate. And for the next quote, receiver Caleb Mathis allegedly punched backup quarterback Colton Allen because of not wanting to repay a gambling debt of over $10,000, according to the report. And
what a toxic locker room this must have been. Or like, I guess, for negative teams, right? You can always find like players saying bad stuff about the coach, the team, and etc. But this seems out of the ordinary, right?
Last quote, it involved Tavarish Dawson getting dismissed from the team after an incident with Coach Prime. Quote, the former 4-star receiver described an incident back in January that resulted in Coach Prime going off on him. He informed CU's coaches of his intentions to head home to Florida for his daughter's first birthday. When he had flight delays and was hours late returning to practice, the tone with Sanders and others changed. Coach Prime started talking about how I let down the program, especially Shador, by coming back late. He told me he was going to take away my playing time and was upset. I spoke up for myself. Coach Prime told us to be responsible and take care of our family. That's what I was doing. I told him it was nonsense that I was being punished for being present for my daughter, but Shiloh and Shador could miss a week for a fashion show. Prime lost it and started cussing me out and told me to pack my stuff in front of my teammates. At the end of the day, every college football program has drama going on. You're dealing with damn near 100 young men trained to be as aggressive as possible, with a ton of money on the line. It just feels like everything's amplified with the type of culture that Deion encourages, with all the flash and cameras around, along with giving the superstar treatment to certain players, which included in the past his sons and Travis Hunter. In 3 years, Coach Prime has a 16-21 record at Colorado. However, the off-field landscape has shifted tremendously for the university. Based on this Sports Illustrated article, Colorado now has the greatest value of any non-Big Ten or SEC school. That is a major feat. The athletic department saw yearly revenue nearly double from 2022 to 2025. And the university as a whole saw a 20% increase in student applications since Deion arrived. The Prime effect has been real. But even though the university got the attention they were looking for, the athletic department is still suffering massive yearly deficits due to increased spending on things like Deion's contract and spending more on players in the portal. However, it is worth mentioning that most college athletic departments have yearly deficits. So
that's what I'm thinking.
Make of the 3 years so far? Well, at the very least, it's given college football a spark. Coach Prime took over a dead program and brought it live. At times, this experiment has provided us fans some of the most entertaining moments both on and off the field.
What about me would make you think that I care about your opinion of me? Your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself. You ain't make me, so you can't break me.
Wow.
Who's the best coach in college football today?
Let me see a mirror so I can look at it.
What a great video. ATO, as always, original video below. What do you think of this team? It's kind of interesting because he's obviously elevated the Colorado Buffaloes, I think they were called. Colorado Buffalo College, the whole college football program. He's obviously elevated them to a different kind of level. It went toxic, I know. But what do you think about the future there? I think it's a great 3 years for the team. The TV numbers they brought in for some of the games. I hope they can continue to build upon this. This was a great video. What did you think? Thank you guys for watching. Take care and see you soon.